Have you ever been to a prog metal concert? Well, I have. According to my son, prog metal means progressive metal. It's heavy metal. And my son asked me, Dad, you want to go to a heavy metal concert? Never been to one. Why not? But before I get into that, Karen's got a loaf of bread coming out of the oven. Priorities, you know. Let's get to the bread, and then I'll get to the rest of the story. This is a loaf of bread right out of the oven. Karen's going to cut it up, and then I'm going to slather a piece in with butter. You got that? With butter.
All right.
Karen says the bread's too hot to cut. But you know what that means? That means that the butter is just gonna melt all over that bread. Oh boy. There we go. Karen's putting on what you putting on, hon?
The butter.
The butter. That's right. Plenty of butter. Homemade bread right out of the oven. Coffee poured in a Yankee cup. That hot bread slathered in butter. My world is good today. If you have followed my channel, you have seen that I put on every now and then some musical videos. So you kind of see that I like soft music. I like classical guitars. Nice, easygoing stuff. I do like AC/DC though, so some of that rock and roll, I like that too. But heavy metal, I've never gotten into that. So when I went to see this heavy metal concert, I was in for a shock, a surprise, but it was really good. So let me tell you a little bit about this band. This band is called Dream Theater, and they've actually been around for 40 years. I never heard of them before, but I'll show you some pictures of them. I can't show you the music that I recorded while I was there because I'll get hit with all kinds of copyright violations, but I'll maybe try to describe it for you. So my daughter-in-law had bought my son 2 tickets to go to Dream Theater in Seattle. And I don't know that she really wanted to go to that, or if she was working too hard and she was tired, or if she had a cold. Regardless, my son comes up to me and offers to take me to this concert. Sure, I'll go. Why not? 74-year-old man gonna go to a prog metal, which more or less is heavy metal. So I went. And I seen a lot of things, like this kid behind me. He was definitely into the head throws. And a lot of them were. It was loud. The guitars were loud. The bass drum, and this guy had a bunch of bass drums. He was going so much you could feel it. You could feel it in your chest. And these guys, like I said, they've been around for 40 years. I never heard of them before, and you would think I would have heard of them. It ends up that most of them, they're about 60 years old. The organist is 68, so these aren't spring chickens, but man, could they play those instruments. They were good. And so these guys that you see here, that's Dream Theater. My son tells me they're from Long Island originally. Hey, I'm from Long Island too, although I'm not playing in one of those kind of bands. The music I normally listen to, I can hear the singer sing the words. I can actually hear the words. I kind of like that. In the Dream Theater, the singer came out and he's singing, but I couldn't hear a single word he said. But obviously the people in the audience knew exactly what he said because they were singing along. And I'm telling you, this theater was packed. There was no other room to get another person in. So they must be followed really well. So there's a lot of them there. And again, I couldn't understand a word he said, but it all sounded pretty good. When I left and our ears were ringing, and as we're trying to walk ourselves back to the parking lot where we parked the car, I wasn't sure if this music was touching the realms of insanity or genius. Just couldn't tell. But my ears were ringing, and they rang for quite a while. And we got back in the car, and we headed on home. Seattle's only about 45 miles from here, but it takes, depending on the traffic, and if there's been an accident, and you're on I-5, it could take you an hour. Getting there, we thought we were going to get there in plenty of time, but of course it was a wreck. Normally there's always wrecks on I-5. So we were in a traffic jam, and I think it took us an hour and a half to get there. And when we got there, going in, the music was already playing. Another part of this group that was fantastic was their light show and the lasers. And, you know, if you were prone to seizures, you wouldn't want it gone. There was one section where it's just bright white lights, and they're strobing. And they're strobing from the bottom, and they're strobing from the top, and we're in the balcony, so it's hitting us directly in the eyes. I've seen a bunch of people hide their eyes. I didn't, because I'm not prone to seizures. Or maybe I had one while I was there. I don't know. But you know what? I found myself, as the music was going on, I found myself going like this. Funny how that happens. I found my foot bouncing around, so yeah, it was good. I could hear him. But the best part about this whole thing, I mean, the concert was good, but the best part was being in that car for the hour and a half it took to get there, and maybe an hour getting back, was being with my son and being able to talk just one-on-one. Normally, when he's around, he's got 2 kids to deal with, always watching them, taking care of them, so we don't really get to talk a lot. The only times we really talk a lot is if he's doing a home project, putting up a fence where I'm there helping him, and it's just him and I building the fence. And we can get into some conversations. And these were good. We talked about family and how family matters. He was interested in my family and how I was raised. So we did that, and we talked, and it was so enlightening. So bottom line, concert was great, I think, but the trip, being with my son, was the best part of all. You know what I realize? You're never too old to experience new things, whether it's a prog metal concert or whether it's different aspects of life. You're never too old to experience new things. And it's great to be able to do that. And I hope that if you get the chance, and it might be something that is maybe out of your box, step out of that box and experience it. You don't have to like it, but experience it. And then decide what was outside of that box that was pretty good, or what was outside of that box that you wanted to get back into the box for. But be open. Get out there and do stuff. Don't become a fuddy-dud and just sit around and leave everything how you've always thought it should be. Push yourself. Push yourself past your limits, and you will see your life become just greater, because you're going out there and you're seeing more things, appreciating more things, hearing more things, seeing more things. People are wonderful. When we were in that concert, nobody was thinking about politics and all the bad stuff and the wars. They were just listening to the music, head banging away. Here's another little funny story. There was a couple sitting in front of us, and I seen them. I thought they were drinking coffee, and they keep going down and getting another coffee. They must have drank 8 coffees. And so when I left, I told my son, I said, "Do you see how much coffee they drank? I couldn't drink that much coffee. I'd be going down to the bathroom all the time." And he goes, "Dad, those are beers." Well, that shows you what I know. Beers used to come in a big old cup, and But what they do, this coffee was looking like it was in a coffee cup with a top, and that was so it wouldn't spill all over the place and make a mess. So I didn't even know that. And it was funny because toward the end of the concert, I was wondering, did these guys eat something? Pills, take some pills? And I know they weren't smoking any doobers because I didn't smell anything. It was the beer. And we were all the way up on the top of the balcony, and they had to balance their way to go down. So that was kind of funny. But anyway, guys, ladies, bottom line, go do stuff. Just do stuff, and you'll have a ball, and you'll enjoy it. And probably that's how we come back to this channel. It's called Embrace the Journey, because all that's a part of it. So we embrace our journey. Folks, you embrace yours, and have a fantastic life, and we'll see you next week.